Hey guys, today we're going to be looking at heat, and in order to study this we're going to use a scene from the movie Home Alone. If you're unfamiliar with this movie, what happens is a young man named Kevin is accidentally left home alone, imagine that, when his family goes on vacation, and two burglars have arranged to rob the house while the family's on vacation. Unbeknownst to them, Kevin is still in the house and has set up lots of booby traps, which are played for laughs as these two burglars encounter all of them. Now, in this particular scene, you see a doorknob that's glowing with this faint red glow. And what has happened is Kevin has affixed a heating unit to the other side of this doorknob so that the doorknob has gotten really, really hot. And as the burglar attempts to enter through the front door, grabs the really, really hot doorknob, and then we get this scene. Painful to watch. But what we're going to do now is go back and look at this scene in terms of understanding what heat is. So I'm going to rewind now to the point where we first encounter our hot doorknob. Alright, this doorknob has a high temperature. Remember that temperature is the average kinetic energy of the molecules in a substance, or the particles in the substance. So on average, these particles are moving really, really fast in the doorknob. In the hand, not so much. We know that the human body maintains a temperature of about 98 degrees. We can assume the temperature of this metal is probably several hundred degrees by this point. So the doorknob has a much higher temperature than the hand. And so when the hand touches the doorknob, we have heat flow. And you have to be really, really careful when talking about heat. Heat is not energy stored up in one object or another. I can't talk about heat in the doorknob or heat in the man's hand. Neither one of those makes sense. Heat is only the transfer of energy from one object to another. So I'll say that again because it's really, really important. Heat is a transfer of energy from one object to another. And it happens that the energy transfers from the object with a higher temperature to the object with a lower temperature. So heat will flow from the doorknob to the hand, and that energy has to come from somewhere. It comes from the thermal energy stored in the doorknob, and heat flows from the doorknob to the hand, and then that energy is stored up as thermal energy in the hand. And so what you see is when he grabs it, now we have heat flow. As soon as he lets go, the heat flow stops. They're not in contact, so you don't get a transfer of energy from the doorknob to the hand. So as soon as contact is broken, there is no heat flow there. Now let's look at another example seconds later. Very wisely, he finds the snow and sticks his hand in. Now his hand has a much higher temperature than the snow, so heat will flow spontaneously. That is, it'll happen all by itself from his hand into the snow. So he's getting rid of some of his thermal energy into the snow by putting his hand in contact with it. And so heat is that flow of energy from an object with a higher temperature to an object with a lower temperature. And that's about all there is for heat.